Bulldogs lost several players as a result of last week's tough match. Out, international winger Chris Anderson, replaced by good all-rounder Lee Pomfret, who invariably performs well in first grade. Second rower Peter Casillas badly damaged the knee against Manly. He's replaced by the third of the Hughes boys, Graham, who had some thumb trouble.
Well, Rex, I had a badly broken thumb, and I got another knock during the week on Wednesday night, but X-rays cleared it, and it was a bit sore on Thursday morning, but it's good as gold today.
Probably the most talked about change is the re-inclusion of favourite son Steve Mortimer at half. He's been kept in reserve grade for 2 weeks by Mal Creevy, but Creevy succumbed to an injury after Wednesday's loss to Parramatta. Was there a time Steve, thought he wouldn't get back into first grade?
Yeah, well, Rex, Mal Creevy, of course, is playing well, and it did flash in the back of my mind, but it quickly flashed back out again too, because I would take it from week to week, but Mouse is out with an injury now, and I'm reinstated, and I'm looking forward to a game against West, hopefully with 2 points.
A work accident is responsible for the latest Canterbury Bankstown casualty. PE teacher Stephen Folkes damaged an ankle on Friday at school. A severe blow to his side, but his replacement, Peter Smith, is one of the 79 grand finalists who did so well. Well, that's it for the Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs. Now, what about Western Suburbs? One of the danger men for Wests is young wing three-quarter Steve Gearin. Not only is he Canterbury's leading point scorer with his goal kicking and third in the overall league tally, but he's their leading try scorer in 1980 with 7, equal to Mal Creevy. Now, Gearin, always a gifted player. For instance, this classic wing three-quarter try in last season's second-round clash at Belmore. He's grown in stature as a player this season and will need very close marking by West skipper Warren Boland, himself in good form. 3 Magpies have been under somewhat of a cloud after their 26-4 drubbing by East last round. 5'8" Terry Lamb had ankle trouble, but with plenty of work, the injury has responded and he takes his place in the side. Centre Ron Broderick is a late withdrawal from the team, but Australian representative forward Jim Leese, another with a problem, with a head injury, but that's responded to treatment, and he takes over in the centre in place of Broderick. And taking Leese's place at lock forward is utility player Ken Hay, and he's a man with some good credentials behind him too. A few injuries in a club, a chance in a different position, has worked for John Rebo de Bressac. Now, Rebo, as he's known, has been in top form on the wing for the Magpies over the last 3 matches. Known as Sydney's fastest forward, in his present wing form, he couldn't be dropped. Finally, does coach Roy Masters consider that consecutive losses to Manly and Eastern Suburbs constitute a slump?
They do constitute a slump, yes, Rex. 22-game competition, 2 games in a row you're losing. You've lost at Lidcombe Oval, it's in a slump, yeah, there's no doubt about it. Somehow or other, we've got to get ourselves out of it today.
And today's the day?
I think so, yeah.
A confident Roy Masters, but with some problems. So much then for the Magpies. Well, a change of clubs can be a new lease of life for some footballers, or so it has proved for the former Penrith forward Paul Merlo. When his contract with the Panthers expired last season, he found himself approached by the Magpies because of the heavy depredations they had suffered at the hands of Manly and Newtown during the off-season. Merlo is currently enjoying a bird's-eye view of his new home ground, Lidcombe Oval, where he's assisting in the installation of lighting for his employers, DJ Staniford, the commercial electrical contractors, for whom he's a maintenance electrician. Merlo's form this season has been the best of his Sydney career. A player with a high work rate, he's improved his attacking play enormously. That, allied to an already solid defence, makes him a very valuable asset in the Magpies' challenge for this year's top honours. Back in just a moment with highlights of the under-23s and reserve grade.
Is that Stan Cutler leading them out? Yes, it is. Must be playing a number of games, 200 games, is it, for Canterbury? This is the full size. Stan Cutler, Lee Pomfret, Chris Mortimer, Greg Brentwell, Steve Gearin, Gary Hughes, Steve Mortimer, Mark Hughes, Peter Smith, Graham Hughes, Jeff Robinson, George Proponis and John Coveney. The coach, of course, is Ted Glossop. Number 9 there, Peter Smith, Steve Folkes' replacement in today's game. He's one of last year's grand final heroes for the Canterbury side, only a youngster. Folkes is going to be missed, of course, but Smith's inclusion does increase the size of the pack rather dramatically, and he's an improving young player. Changed around looking Western Suburbs side, led out by a rather grim-faced Warren Boland. This is the full side. Wayne Smith, John Rebo, Jim Leese playing in the centre, Ron Giddo, Warren Boland, Terry Lamb, Alan Neal, Ken Hay at lock forward, Paul Merlo, Bob Cooper, John Donnelly, Jack Jeffries, Tom Arbour, and the coach is Roy Masters. Well, Dallas Donnelly, the tiny wee lad that he is expected to neutralise the explosive Canterbury prop Jeff Robinson, who's on the burst running, is very damaging. Additionally, Donnelly must, with his prop mate Tom Arbour, tie up the centre of the rucks. Otherwise, the free-running Bulldogs will be allowed to get into their favoured open style, and they'll be extremely hard to beat. The referee in today's game, Mr. Jack Danzy. The premiership match results since 1970 in the 24 games. Canterbury have won 13, West have won 10, drawn 1. Points for Canterbury 356, West 321. There have been 12 games at Belmore since 1970. Canterbury have won 9, West have won 2, drawn 1. West haven't won at Belmore since May 77 when they won 8-5. Giddo with his round the corner style, putting himself offside at the point of kicking the ball, one always thinks. But there it is, and there's touch being found with the first one. The player that took the ball, Graham Hughes, been forced over the sideline. On that basis, it was a fine kick. First scrum of the match. Oh, Canterbury, Steve Mortimer left it totally behind him, went between his legs. He'll be out to prove his selectors wrong. They've approved Mal Creevy's selection in the side for the previous 2 weeks. Bretnall. The low trajectory drop type punt. Fair crowd here, Belmore. In the order of 15,000, one would think. Earlier matches today. Western Suburbs 14, Canterbury 13 on the under-23s. In the reserve grade, Western Suburbs 8, Canterbury 2. Canterbury running from left to right in possession. Well, that's ridiculous. That is patently ridiculous, and that is just giving points to the opposition, in my view. One of the more cancerous things that's come into rugby league in the last 3 seasons is this business of failing to release the tackle player and get off. The referees are going to get raps from me every time they penalise somebody for holding down a player or failing to get off him and allow him to play it quickly. Canterbury. Mark Hughes, Peter Smith took that well. The defence was right on top. Opponents at dummy half. There's Robinson on the burst. Does he know any other way? About 8 metres out. Opponents again. Switches. Mortimer. Pass to Chris Mortimer, his brother. Driven backwards. Steve Mortimer. George Paponis. George making a good inroad there. Last tackle coming up. Will this be a Mortimer bomb? The backs are lined deep. It is back to the blind side. Well judged kick into the in goal, knocked over the dead ball line by Ron Ghetto, and that was a very well judged little kick, a little toe punt. Section of the large crowd here at the southern end of the ground with tons of coloured paper and streamers and all the accoutrements of the supporter 1980 style, the little touch judge, or rather the touch judge report on a little incident. Wasn't a little touch judge, he's a large lad. Line dropout. Ghetto. Drove it back over halfway. Cutler. Winds up. And Hay, one of the defenders. Interesting to watch how Lease goes out in the centre position. He's up against some pretty pacey blokes. Robinson, under a head high, manages to get his pass away to Mortimer. Broken play now with Peter Smith, looking for support out to Chris Mortimer. Then out to Gearin. Up into the Western Suburbs quarter. They've been under intense pressure. Pomfret, yes. Sorry, Gearin on the left wing. Mortimer. Mark Hughes. That fine step that he has, off his left foot particularly. Still on the quarter. Mortimer. Gary Hughes. Pass too hard from Gary Hughes. Western Suburbs in possession. Neil falls on it. And they'll be happy for that. Merlot, after 4.5 minutes, no score. And West's been under intense pressure. Well past Jeffries there. He found Donnelly running from one side of the ruck to the other. He had to do the full swivel. Neil. Cooper. A little bit of feeling there and a bit of hair pulling. That was because Cooper lifted his knees as he went in to take the tackle of Mark Hughes. There's a penalty. Only a chain reaction always sets in when some player does something the opposition consider not on to one of theirs. It's the old herd instinct, I suppose. Gitto shading his eyes against the sun. The ground in tip-top order, just a little bit soft in the middle, but in beautiful condition for a game. That's a good kick. Rebo. Over to Jeffries now then. Jeffries. Neil. Throws the dummy. Halfway through the gap. All through the gap. And Mortimer assists in the tackle. Good swivel again by Jeffries, but he's leaving himself open to have those passes intercepted. Because at the point of him passing with his back turned, he can't see the opposition. Oh, Wayne Smith right through the gap. He'll score. It's easy. It's easy days. Oh, he acknowledged the crowd with a hand up there. He found a gaping hole. See it again. Now then, Jeffries with a long pass out to Smith. That was a beautiful pass. And he's wrong-footed Cutler so easily. From head on, it'll make Cutler's defensive effort look even a little bit shakier. Went past Peter Smith. Now watch Cutler, propped, didn't even stop enough to get a hand to him. That was a fine try. Good mobile running. Giddo, first kick. About 20 metres off centre, round the corner style. Well, it's a shonky-looking kick, but it's a point. It's 2 points. So then, Western Suburbs, after a very taut start to the game, 5 points to 0. About 18 metres. Out along the line it comes now. Western Suburbs. Lamb steps, comes back on the inside. This time they'll use it wide. Neil. Lease. Well, that was a bit slow and a bit methodical. Neil held onto the ball too long there. Sold the dump to Lease, really. 20 metres out. Merlot from dummy half. Back inside to Lease playing a number 8, even though he's in the centre. There he is through one tackle, 2, 10 metres away. And that's the 6. Touch judge.
To report that incident between Smith and Coveney. Hay and Coveney.
Yes, that was the one back almost in front of you there, Barry.
Yes, near halfway.
Well, you've got a player there beside you, Steve Folkes, who'd love to be in the thick of this, I feel sure. And, well, how did he manage to hurt himself as a PE teacher?
Steve, how did you sustain that injury that's caused you to miss today's game?
Well, it was a bit unfortunate, Barry. I fell in a bit of a pothole at school on Friday, and doctor says I've torn the ligaments in my ankle, so that'll keep me out, hopefully, only this week.
Tell me, Steve, a lot of people say that you're a bit small for big-time football as a second rower. Would you agree with that?
I don't. That has its drawbacks, but I think, you know, if tackling and things, it's all technique and timing. So if you've got a big front row in front of you, I think you can carry a couple of smaller fellas.
All right, that's the voice of one of the form lightweight forwards in Sydney, Stephen Folkes. Paponis wins another scrum for Canterbury. Mark Hughes. Hay getting through a mountain of work for this Western Suburbs side. On the blind side, Mortimer with a little low trajectory kick, which missed only by about 18 inches from being a bottler. But a miss as good as a mile, and back they come, 40 metres. And still under pressure. There'll be a penalty if they don't get this scrum sorted out. And it's gone against Canterbury. Well, they won the scrum. There's Neil. Mark Hughes hanging to him. Donnelly. Hay. Well, Donnelly's been gone down very quickly or very hard, and some players been spoken to by the referee, but play won't stop for the moment. Neil elects to go on his own there with support on the outside. Wayne Smith. Gitto. Not making much of an impression. I'll get Barry Ross to comment on that Donnelly incident. I saw it only fleetingly out of the corner of my eye.
Well, you called it correctly, Rex. John Coveney, the Canterbury prop, was the player that referee Danzy spoke to on the run. There's the linesman going on now, I think, probably about that incident.
There's the touch, John. Now, I'm just wondering out loud to my director, did our cameras capture anything there? I was not watching on the monitor. We'll have a look back at that, and if we can cite what the incident was, we'll certainly come to it. But Coveney...
He came through very quickly. I think maybe he thought that the ball was going that side of the ruck, and he went straight to Donnelly, and certainly gave him plenty, as the saying goes.
Right, the camera's following the play. That was behind the play. There's George Paponis' scrum situation from 144 wins from 269, success rate of 53.5. Certainly a bit of trouble with these scrums today. They're screwing around. Western Suburbs lead 5-0. That one came shooting out the back, and Mark Hughes had to fall on that. Gary Hughes. Only 5 metres out now from the Canterbury line. Peter Smith. Good strong burst there from the big youngster. Oh, that pass to Graham Hughes from his brother Mark looked a marginal one again. Referee Danzy pulling the West players back a good 8 or 9 metres there for it's a toe call 5-yard. Bowen knocked it backwards, picked up by Wayne Smith, bumps off one player, then tackled on the halfway. Bowen, Lease, Lamb. The West player still coming back on side. Very slow to recover on the halfway line. Well, now we've got Rin Tin Tin on the field. There he is. It looks like a camel in the background. It's the largest dog you've ever seen. Neil. Arbour. The use of the elbow. That'll be a penalty to Canterbury and a penalty against Arbour. And I've seen players sent off the list. There's one player, Manly, John Gray from Manly's been walked 3 times for exactly that. See it again. Inherited, or there it is. Up came the left elbow. A dangerous weapon must be stamped out. Brought into Sydney Rugby League by Malcolm Reilly and used to telling effect. Canterbury moving it nicely. Gary Hughes tardy and unloading there, and it's not his go to stick with the ball when there's moved on the outside. Steve Mortimer, Mark Hughes. Nice pass to Chris Mortimer. Brentnell allows to Gearin. Gearin's round his man looking for support. Little chip over the top. It's a race to the ball. Kicks it too hard. It's over the net ball line. I thought that ball was kicked dead by a Canterbury player.
Terry Lamb was very close to the vicinity. Maybe he got his foot to it too.
Well, Canterbury aren't complaining, but I would have thought that was kicked dead by a Canterbury player. Now the referee asking for the dog. There it is, look at it. About 7 or 8 hands. We'd have waited for age at Randwick, wouldn't it?
Well, I put a black and white skirt around him and put him in the 2 box at Wentworth Park, perhaps.
Right. Mark Hughes. the halfway line. Oh, good shoulder there, and unloaded Giddo very forcibly. Robinson. Whoa, Neil knows all about the surge. Coveney. Little bit of a get square. Gary Hughes showing the ball on the outside, still showing it. Beaten 1-2. Rebo the tackler. Graham Hughes. With that double shuffle of his, almost like double D clutching. Steve Mortimer. Peter Smith on the... Oh, and his first instinct was beautiful. Then he had Mark Hughes on the fly on the inside and just held the pass back. Drums at the stage, 3-2 Canterbury's favour. The penalty's 3-1 Canterbury's way. Here they go again. Unloaded nicely to Brentnell. Brentnell sights an opening of his... Oh! That tackle, put that one down. There was a try at the end of that. If Lease doesn't get on his foot like that. Long pass, knockdown, 6 to go. Robinson has it. Robinson trips over the quarter line. He's only 20 metres out now. Graham Hughes going from dummy half, trying that little hop again. Opponents. Steve Mortimer. Smith. A top game, young Smith, coming in as a late replacement. Opponents. Gary Hughes back on the inside to Mark. That's normally a Canterbury move with Cutler involved, and he trailed Hughes and couldn't get the ball. Opponents. Steve Mortimer. Gary Hughes. Unloaded nicely. Chris Mortimer, that's gone forward, surely. Well, it was worth a go, I suppose. If it comes off, there could have been a try on the end of it. We've had 18 minutes of this first half. Good, fast rugby league. Well, it's in and out. Hay tackles straight away. He's the lock forward, playing in number 14 for Western Suburbs. Well, Lamb did well to hold on to that. Mortimer slams him to the ground. Lamb pulled himself up to his full 5'2" there and stood and stared at his opponent. Jeffries from dummy half, playing midway between the west quarter and halfway. Gitto, right foot upfield. Oh, it could be a beauty. It is. Magnificent kick. No blame attaching to Lee Pomfret there. It was a great kick. End over end. A great way to make 45 metres. It's another scrum win to Canterbury. Steve Mortimer just beating Hay to it. Gary Hughes, there's Cutler in. And that gap closed pretty smartly as Lease was there to read the situation. And Lease with another good tackle. The possession changing hands. Here's a go. Gitto with men on the outside. Goes on his own on the inside and the ball's gone astray with a try on it. Still a try, is it? He's held up in the in goal. Here's scrum. Well, the try went absolutely begging there. Western Suburbs really should have another one on the board after that. The pass back inside from Gitto was a stray. Now the scrum went to Canterbury and they're starting to flow pretty readily Canterbury's way. Paponis doing a big job. 6-3, 2-1. The scrums. Graham Hughes just outside the 10-metre line. Coveney leaves it behind. It's gone back to Lamb. Robinson there with a swinging arm. Wayne Smith jogs up into position close to The West backline. Errors. Canterbury 7, West's 1. And that's just about the indication of this game at this stage. Something I'm sure Ted Glossop, their coach, will be talking about. There's Rebo! Rebo! Well, it's a penalty. He must have known he was going to be penalised. See it again, a classic double movement. If you were talking to a group of youngsters and saying, we want to show you what double movement means, this is it. See it again. It deserved the try, except for the last bit of stupidity. He was tackled there. And over goes the arm. I don't know what he thinks the referee's going to do in a situation like that. But anyway, that gets Canterbury off the hook, and they could have been down another 2 tries. It's been all Western Suburbs. Have a look at the kick on Brentwood. Well, that's a massive kick. That breeze a little bit stronger than it looks, Barry?
Yes, it's certainly going to play a big part in this game, particularly in the second half. There's Peter Smith way back in the Canterbury try line, having treatment to, it's like a shoulder. No, he's just taking his shoulder pads off and putting his jumper back on now.
I don't know how they play on the things anyway. Anyway, Paponis, a dummy half there with Coveney trying desperately to get to his feet. Steve Mortimer sights a gap, he's through. He puts the kick ahead. Graham Smith couldn't be penalised. No, it will be a try, will it? Oh, it's been rushed dead over the dead ball line. And it's a penalty to Canterbury, quite rightly. Wayne Smith ran into him. And there's the man he's talking to. He impeded the player. The penalty, let's have a look at that again. Great little break by Steve Mortimer, the chip over the top. Now watch it. There it was. No question about it. I don't blame Smith, mind you. That was a try, had try written all over it. So if West lose this, and there's no suggestion they're going to at this stage, they would be looking back to that space of 5 minutes of this part of the game. There's Gearin, 54 goals from 88 attempts, success rate 61.4%. 7 tries, 54 goals for 129 points. And that is a valuable man. But he missed his first 3 kicks last week. Outside the left hand upright and came back in. A good result for him. Western Suburbs 5, Canterbury 2. Oh, far to go the required distance. And a mandatory penalty. Western Suburbs, a very poor result from that restart. That, to me, always is a low point for a team when they fail to get the ball off correctly. So often you see the opposition take full advantage of it and score sometime in the ensuing 3 or 4 minutes. Robinson. He's making his presence felt again. Donnelly meeting him wherever possible. Steve Mortimer. Smith. On the quarter line, midfield. Paponis dummying one way to Graham Hughes. Back inside. That was forward unless West get it, but they do. The advantage rule applies. Donnelly over the top of Robinson, who took him wisely low. Harbour. .12 metres, 13 metres from halfway. There's Donnelly again, pounding up straight into the meat of the Canterbury forwards. Neal, the dummy, and nearly came off. Dummied outside, dummied inside, and went on his own. Plenty of tricks, this youngster. Hay, Merlot. And good defence there by Canterbury Bankstown. So the score remains with 15 minutes to half-time. Western Suburbs 5, Canterbury 2. And a scrum win to Western Suburbs. 4. Now they've won. 6 to the opposition. Penalties are a massive 6-1 Canterbury's way. Well, that kick is going to find touch ultimately. Well, the touch judge must have remarkably good eyes, because he was able to ascertain that Rebo, when he came along, kicked that ball and kicked it out in the full. Well, Wests will be looking for a win in this game. They'll also be looking to see one of the success stories of 1980 back on the field again. I refer to Ted Goodwin. He's with Barry Ross.
Yes, Ted, 4 weeks ago, sent off against Cronulla. How much is that, with this unique contract that you have, how much does that cost you, that suspension?
Well, it's cost about $4,000 so far, Barry.
And what are you doing, Ted? I believe you're playing soccer to keep fit. And are we any chance of losing you to Leeds United?
No, mate, no, but I did get the equaliser last week, but it's only a fitness thing and I'm enjoying my soccer.
Teddy Goodwin, one of the players that was really putting it together. Oh, that pass just astray. It was actually brushed by a player coming through. Smith. Very impressed with Smith's performance so far today. He's taken the ball up very well to the opposition, usually beyond the centre line, beyond the advantage line. Steve Mortimer, Robinson. And underneath him goes Jeffries, takes his legs nicely. Paponis, Steve Mortimer, Harry Hughes, the dummy. They're handling, Hayes handling Hughes pretty well today. Mark Hughes, Graham Hughes, that double D clutch again. He might be just short of a bit of a gallop too, Graham Hughes, I would think. Mortimer back to Graham Hughes. And the little bit of rancor there as Graham Hughes got up and threw the ball at Jeffries. Didn't appreciate something that happened in a tackle. Clean heel to Canterbury. Paponis, Hughes, oh, through the tackle of Lamb. And Hay again called on to stop him. There's Hay again. Getting through a lot of tackle. Keep looking for this number 14, son of a very famous father. Didn't aspire to those heights himself, but a useful player and always has been. Had some very good days. Harry Hughes back inside of Paponis. His pass knocked down. 6 to go, says the referee. They're only about 4 metres now outside the west quarter. Graham Hughes. Well, he's got himself buried there again. Donnelly came over. Steve Mortimer. Coveney. Fine tackle by Hay again. Becomes repetitive, doesn't it? Well, there, Cutler on the burst again. See, coming through, expecting to get the ball, but they can't work him onto the end of that move. Mark Hughes. Lovely pass out to Brentnell. Back to Chris Mortimer. Last tackle. Now, is it a Mortimer bomb? Stands very flat. That's not a bad kick. Bit of pressure. Smith flies. It'll be back to Canterbury. 6 to go. And they've butchered the ball. Wests have come up with it. Well.
Terry Lamb down in back play, having treatment on the near the sideline by the West trainer.
Police just over the quarter line. Lamb in a bit of pain there by the look of it. Neil, Merlot, ran out of support there. Managed to get his pass away to Cooper. And Shepherding. See it again. I think the referee was quite right. Now watch again. Neil, Merlot stood in the tackle for an interminable time, got it to Cooper, and then went round Neil. Steve Gearin, 8 metres outside the quarter. He's about 17 metres, 18 metres perhaps in from the sideline. The breeze width and across, Barry?
Yes, I probably think it's a nor'easter, maybe almost behind Gearin.
All right. Not a difficult kick for Steve Gearin. But he's made a mess of it. Hooked it rather badly, actually. So the score remains as it was. Wests 5, Canterbury 2. Hughes. Long pass out to Robinson, who was involved in the Canterbury try last week. It was ultimately scored by Goodwin. A fine lob pass leading to it. Robinson certainly draws the flies when he gets the ball, doesn't he? Coveney, bullocking, tough run. Cuts out a man out to Cutler. Cutler unloads nicely to Chris Mortimer. Got Pomfret there, but he was a bit tardy coming back in field. The run-around move with Pomfret. Oh, Robinson leaves it behind. That's a knock-on. Telecast brought to you by Wesco Motors, your local Mazda dealers. And that's against Neil for failing to retire. See it again, because that's a fairly good example of not retiring too, for people that may hear the expression and not know what. Now, Neil has never left the halfway line of the scrum, the centre of the scrum. The ball came out, and he was there as it came out. Really playing into the hands of Goodwin. His third attempted goal. You just can't give this man too many kicks at goal. Manly, ask Manly, I'll tell you.
But you notice in that scrum, Rex, that West seemed to hook the ball first, that it was locked there for a while, then Canterbury began to push the big West forwards backwards.
Yes, I did notice that. It may be that Canterbury have got a ploy of today up against a bigger pack of screwing the scrum slightly.
Yes, well, I suppose they've thought about it all the week about how they could combat that huge Western Suburbs pack, and particularly as they've got a reputation for being small.
Well, they're combating it with a massive penalty count, Barry. The penalties are 9-1 in Canterbury's favour. But Canterbury have won the scrum 7-4 against this larger pack too. Just haven't come up with a try though. Now Goodwin, 10 metres outside the quarter, 20 metres in from the sideline. And a horrible kick. That is a kick that nobody would be proud of. Maybe the soft footing as he comes in might be putting him off a bit. Yes, we won't long forget the furore over the balls in the first match this year, which West won 24-8, I think, from memory. There was the allegation that the Western Suburbs officials gave balls that were underinflated.
Yes, that was the day that I think Giddo kicked 6 out of 6, so he must have liked the underinflated balls.
And Goodwin, I think, failed to kick a goal that day, or did he? I can't remember. It couldn't have been too many.
Maybe one, I think.
Maybe one, yeah. Well, there's a beautiful heel. The fullback's in, Wayne Smith. And beautifully tackled. That is a top tackle by Chris Mortimer. Right round the shins. And again. Merlo, Donnelly, Lease. Playing centre like a lock forward at the moment is Jimmy Lease. Doing some good defence, but he's a positional player, apparently a little astray. And who can blame him? Well, Lease picked it up, but it had gone to ground. Cooper. Well, there's a fairly large error count in favour or against Canterbury. They've dropped or spilt or given the ball back to the opposition 10 times to West 2. It was only the second time West have lost the ball. There's a penalty to Western Suburbs against Canterbury for collapsing that scrum. Ron Gitto. As good as you could expect from the middle of the field. Jeffries. On the blind side comes Cooper. Nicely into Smith. Looked a bit marginal, that pass. The referee may have been marginally unsighted there. Jeffries, Lamb, Giteau. Hay. 12 metres out now from the Canterbury goal line. Donnelly. Rebo, the wing three-quarter, who comes midfield for those. And Robinson might just get himself a caution on the run there, or even got the stoppage of play for a right hand that missed. Lamb. And that's the 6. Donnelly took the high mark, all right, but of course it hadn't touched an opposition player in the interim, and it was on the 6th tackle. Couple of minutes to half-time. 5-2. Western Suburbs leading Canterbury in an interesting and pacey game. Mortimer. Mark Hughes almost stepped his way right into the clear. Gary Hughes, lovely pass out there. Mortimer, Brentnell's left it behind. And West have it. Wayne Smith jogged up quickly into position on the blind side. Neal. Lease, his pass is knocked. Taken by Rebo. Rebo's round his man. Going strongly, slips and falls. And it's as well he did for Canterbury. He waved his arm again there for 6 more tackles.
6 more tackles, yes.
Donnelly. About 13 metres out now from the Canterbury line. Time running out. Less than a minute to go to half-time. Switch of play. Neal coming up the centre of the ruck. That's a Canterbury-inspired move. Smith, a little pop over the top. It bounces. And critical. It's a try. Yes, it is to Rebo. And Rebo goes right round beside the post. And if there's a better form player at the moment in Sydney football than John Rebo for the last 3 weeks, tell me about him. See it again. It was a nicely judged kick, and the bounce was a horror. For Canterbury, that is. Now Smith, a little toe poke. It landed. Look what it does. These frightful rugby league balls. They'll do anything. It bounced directly backwards. Rebo merely had to catch it. And then cleverly and thinking went right round. That's good stuff. Smith again. Little toe poke. Good shot of the stand in the background there, the new stand, and that was the way it went.
As he lines up this kick, Rex, Jim Lease just left the field. It looks like that cut on his head has been opened again. There's a lot of blood on his head.
All right. There's the Giteau statistic, 45 goals from 66 attempts, success rate 68.2, 7 tries, 45 goals for 111 points. And there's another 2, so at the half-time break, Canterbury with plenty to do, trailing by 10 points to 2. And let's have a look now at the scorers in this particular game. We've had Wayne Smith a try, John Rebo a try, Ron Giteau 2 goals for their 10 points. And for Canterbury, it's Steve Gearin, a penalty goal for the Canterbury Bankstown side. And it's only 1 out of 3. Well, certain things come to mind in this game in the first half. There were 2 tries in the space of a couple of minutes. One was for inability to get the ball down. The other was for the business of being the double movement. So when you look at a scoreline, you've got to think in terms of what it could have been. It could be very much more Western Suburbs' way. Something I'm sure Ted Glossop, their coach, will be talking about. There's Rebo! Rebo! Well, it's a penalty. He must have known he was going to be penalised.
We're going to be back in.
With the Western Suburbs side coming back onto the field at the moment with a lead of 10 points to 2, they must be pretty confident. What was the attitude in the dressing room?
Well, they were very confident, Rex, but they're not overconfident. They're going to keep control of the rucks. They want to tighten their defence up a bit more and, of course, use the sun and the wind in this half. That far corner there is very dangerous for the player taking the high ball because the sun and the wind are both against him, so they're going to use that. Roy Masters stressed that they've got to contain Mortimer around the rucks with his little chips and his runs by himself, and of course Gary Hughes has got to be kept in control too because he is the key to the Canterbury attack, and Ken Hay is doing that job well. Canterbury, meanwhile, Teddy Glossop was very concerned with their defence. His players are not going straight up to the man with the ball, and they've got to do that this half, and he thinks that the first 10 minutes of this half will be the key to the result of the game.
All right, well, we're going to see whether they can fight their way back. Canterbury are a side really noted for coming back in adversity. They can, no doubt, pull back an 8-point deficit, but it's not going to be easy. So you're right, probably the opening 10 minutes will tell the story. There's certainly some solid body contact there early on. Graham Hughes has done a shoulder by the look of it. He's in some pain. Giteau getting a high kick. Cutler having to look into the sun to take that. Takes it well, evades Giteau. Now Canterbury a man short at the moment, with Graham Hughes being back treated in the Western Suburbs half. Steve Mortimer out to Gary Hughes. And back inside to his brother Mark. It's a bit disorganised at the moment. Bearing in mind that the score could, in my view, have been another 3 tries to Western Suburbs. I don't think that's an exaggeration. Steve Mortimer, Gary Hughes, Cutler. And they're not falling at all for Cutler coming into the 3-quarter line from fullback. They've submerged him each time. Brentnell kicks. It's a nice kick for length. It just straightens up a fraction. Wayne Smith has it. He's got support in Boland. Throws the dummy instead. Now Boland from dummy half. Well, he's through a tackle from Coveney. Back to Jeffries, then to Neal, Lamb, Giteau. Oh, and a head-high tackle there that was got underneath by Giteau. Swinging arm tackle. Arbour. Tackle just a fraction high too there as George Paponis came in. Arbour having something to say about it. Lamb kicks downfield. It's not going to be good enough because Gearan will pick it up about 10 metres in from the sideline. He evades Lamb. No, he doesn't. There's a good defence there from little Terry Lamb. Any suggestion, Barry, in the West dressing room when you were in there that Lamb was carrying any injury that still wasn't great?
No, nothing was said about that. They treated him and so on. He was rubbed around the bottom of the leg region and checked out completely. I don't think there's anything major wrong with him.
Well, there you are. That's how to tackle Robinson. One higher, one lower. Merlo and Donnelly put paid to his forward progress. Steve Mortimer. Gary Hughes. And tackled by Hay. Robinson. Oh, cracks him out of the way. It's still going. The crowd love it. He's lost the ball, though. You can overdo the tough guy stuff. Now there's an opening out here and an overlap. Cooper lobs a bad pass, but it's taken nicely by Lease. Lease unloads out to Rebo. Rebo will go in, will he? Yes, he does. No. The touchdown stands stock still. It's a try. Well, there you are. Rebo in for his second try, and the size and pace of him are just giving them an enormous amount of trouble. See that try again. Cooper, I thought he bombed it here, but Lease picked that up nicely. The head-on shot will be illuminating because Rebo was terribly close to the sideline there, and the corner post was taken. We'll see it now. Big Cooper, full marks to Lease down below the knees to pick that pass up, and came in slightly. Now watch closely as we slow it down. Yes, it was the defender that took the corner post, not Rebo. He got the ball down okay. Well, that's an embarrassment. 13-2. Giteau's fourth kick, and from the sideline it's unsuccessful. Not missing by much, so he's had success with 2. Crowd a little bit stunned here at Belmore. This very much patched up Western Suburbs side, firing very well. Hay. He's lost the ball, but lost it backwards. Boland on the Merlo. Barber. Straight and hard, close to the ruck. On the blind side, Neil. Cooper. Robinson and Cooper having a nice little joust in this game. And Boland grabbed Cooper there. Let's just see that again, because I like to see a captain assert himself. Let's go back to the incident and the aftermath, and you'll see Boland grab hold of Cooper and just swing him out of the way. And it was a David and Goliath situation. Now we carry it on. As they get up, there's the glaring and the look. Now watch Boland just grab him and go bang and pull him out of the way. And that's good. Well, Canterbury showing little sign of getting themselves out of the slump with 6 minutes gone in the second half. 4 marks to West's. Harbour. Now Neil beautifully to Gitto. Gitto looks for support, gets it to Boland. The pass is astray on the ground. Canterbury come up with it cleanly. Coveney. Well, his instincts were right to get rid of it. There was support out there. Gary Hughes. Smith. Unloaded nicely, half volleyed, not knocked on. One of the rare occasions Canterbury have been able to crack this defence. Mortimer. Hughes, Robinson. Doesn't muck about. Mark Hughes. Merlo in to finish the tackle on the halfway. Last tackle. Steve Mortimer, Gary Hughes, the run around. There's a beautiful pass. Went to a man it wasn't intended for. There's support. Oh, underneath the head-high tackle there was Lee Pomfret, and that's the 6. Well, just a faint sign that Canterbury are starting to get their act together just a little bit. There's the Jeffrey scrum situation in 1980. Won 141 from 277, a success rate of 50.9%. Mark Hughes. Now, usually they use Cutler in situations about 30 metres out. Cutler, the fullback, usually chimes in somewhere. Opponent's going up the middle of the field. That's a good bustle. Up to the quarter line. Now, look for Cutler, number 1. That'll be a penalty, of course. Ball knocked out of a hand. And Paponis says, of course, we'll take the kick attempt. Gearin. Don't forget you'll be able to see this match replayed next Sunday morning at 9:30, and the replay is immediately preceding Sports World, which goes 11 through 1. Being our usual award today, the player we judge to be the best player from the match will receive $400 and appear on Sports World at the end of the year. He'll be judged along with all the other weekly award winners. The player we judge to be the footballer of the year will be the winner of a Mazda RX-7 sports car. Beautiful car. Gearin from the quarter line, just off centre. And that's a bit more of a Gearin form. It's our camera platform with the score deficit reduced. West 13, Canterbury 4. At the year's end, we'll judge all those weekly tries, and the try selected as the try of the year. The man most responsible for that will receive a Mazda 626 Coupe, valued at around about $7,000. What a fine prize. Gitto side foots that. Bits of streamers and coloured paper flying around the field indicate it is a northeasterly breeze. Canterbury in their quarter. Robinson really becoming a crowd pleaser at Belmore. I just have my doubts, Barry, that he'll last a huge long time.
There's a lot of players when they're young can get away with this physical type football, but as you get older, the injuries last that bit longer. But he certainly is a great player, the way he goes in and busts that first tackle, and he is beginning to unload the ball now, much more this year and perhaps the end of last year than when he first came into great football.
Yes, now he's developing some skills, and his main attribute, of course, is this absolute ferocity. We're talking about Robinson. That could be a penalty. Well, we'll wait till the play stops. Western Suburbs in a position of having the ball here. Boland, Smith, Jeffries. Brentnell slowly to his feet. Neal, Lamb. Right on the halfway line in midfield. Jeffries. Arbour. Donnelly. Donnelly's work rate has not been high enough in this game, in my view. There's Neal with a nice low trajectory grubber kick, which is a good one. Well, that incident, you saw it, Barry. What was your view of it?
Well, actually, I didn't see it, Rex. There was a lot of backpacks and newspaper cameramen in front of me, and I just had no view of the incident.
All right, well, I was following the play too, but we've seen Brentnell down. The crowd roared. Looked like a crowd catch, evidently, because the referee or the touch judges weren't interested in it. Another scrum win to Canterbury. And they're really putting it together in the scrums 10-5, but it doesn't translate into tries. As the ball been stolen, and the referee has obviously called tackle. Been all Western Suburbs. One of the biggest kickers of the football in Sydney Rugby League. You'll notice he holds it differently to a lot of players. It's a VFL type of kick, a drop punt. About 13 minutes into this second half. Smith, straight and hard. Canterbury getting into the Z zone now. Something will need to be done fairly smartly. We've got staring down the barrel of their undefeated record over the last, 6 games?
6 or 7 games, yes.
Coming to a halt. 13-4. Long, long way to go. Steve Mortimer left the ball behind, and Western Suburbs have come up with it through Hay. Pass, well. Oh, he's busted 2 defenders. Goes round his man. Robinson's there. He comes back infield away from the wing, and that's good football, but shocking defence from Canterbury. Lease. He had support on the outside, would have done better to unload. Took the tackle. 5 metres into Canterbury's half. Donnelly. Lamb has a look. Out of his mind what he was going to do with it.
We've got to do the impossible. Clear all gas warehouses by July 31st. So...
Injury last week in the Tooth Cup probably saved the Canterbury coach and selectors a lot of embarrassment about the good form by yourself and Steve Mortimer. How is that injury?
It's a lot better now, Barry. It's about, I suppose, about 50-50 chance of playing next week. I'm not really sure yet.
Tell me, what about your future next year? Will you be staying with Canterbury or perhaps another first-grade club?
At this stage, not real sure. I'm just taking week by week to see how things go.
Well, as they talk, he's taking things week by week. I think the young man would like to play first grade, and only time will tell whether he'll change clubs. But Western Suburbs are starting to open this Canterbury side up again, and all the signs and portents are for a try. Gutto finding a gap, tackle there without the ball. Lease plays on and puts it down, but the referee had called knock on. Gutto apparently tackled without the ball there, but the referee wasn't impressed. He was standing only a few yards from it. .15 minutes now, the second half. 13-4. Western Suburbs leading comfortably. Well, May has come up with that one. Important scrum to win. Lamb ridden to the ground by Gary Hughes. Lease, the switch of play. Well, Boland was there on the left-hand side of the ruck, but came back to the right, but ran out of support. Big Donnelly. Arbour. On the left they go. Cooper swivels it back. This is a set-piece move. Wayne Smith chiming in. Back inside it comes to Lease. That was shepherding. Still gets his pass away to Lamb. Lamb tackled and slammed to the ground on the 6. Well, that could have been caned a bit more. There's a touch judge on at the moment. Player being spoken to is Graham Hughes on the right and Lease on the left. So from the red corner it's Graham Hughes, 100 and whatever it is kilos, or 96 kilos. Scrum now. Another scrum win to Western Suburbs. Smith. Only about 20 metres out now from the Canterbury line. Giddo. Canterbury showing no signs of getting their act together with 18.5 minutes gone in this second half. Donnelly. All Western Suburbs. Neal. Cooper. Blades 1, 2, can't release his arms. A field goal by Donnelly. Yes, well, it was a planned move. He's done it again. That's the second one. I think the reason he gets away from it with it, nobody believes he can do it. Merlo can't believe it. He's laughing his head off. See it again. Front row forwards kicking field goals already. Look at that.
There was never any doubt either, was there? He took his time and very carefully put it over.
A top one. So, well, he'd have been thrown out of the forwards union in the old days, mind. The score advances 14-4. Merlo. Boland. Donnelly. Goes for a run. He's up round halfway. Obviously got a flow of adrenaline, that field goal. It's really stirred him up. Beautiful pass from Cooper to Wayne Smith. Quick hands, lovely. He's evaded one defender. And finally comes to Cutler. Up at the quarter line. Arbour. Merlo. Unloaded well to Donnelly, who didn't want it. I don't think he was limping around in the background there. Lamb goes for the kick and chase. They're all there. The bounce is critical. Mortimer will get to it first, and he's picked off nicely in the end goal area by Lease. He's done well in an unaccustomed position. Positional play just a wee bit astray early on. Repeating the results of the other grades today. Western Suburbs 8, Canterbury 2 in reserve grade. Under 23s, Canterbury 13, Western Suburbs 14. Giddo. Opponents right round the boots. 2 metres from the quarter line. Canterbury's in. Just over the halfway mark. Merlo. Oh, pass to Jeffries. Marginal. There it is. Canterbury 14. West 5. The number of times each side has given the ball back to the opposition. Lamb. Cooper. Neil leaves it behind. Picked up. Referee says play on. West stringing together some good chain passing. And one always has the feeling they're just about to score another try. Neil. Well, that one was surely forward. On the lease finally, but gee, that looked a yard forward. See it again, but the try has been awarded to Lease. Well, again, from head on, we'll see. Yes, well, it's been awarded. Lease in. 17-4. This is getting to be a whacking the way they were in the first round. I think it was 24-8. Yes, why not? They're playing very, very ordinary football, Canterbury. Papanis, the man who's one would think has got most to say, is saying nothing. Ditto. Rubbing salt into the wounds. 17-19-4. Well, there's no way Canterbury can get out of this game now, one wouldn't think, but they can put up a little bit more spirit into it because they've really been whacked comprehensively. This is one of the most convincing losses I've seen. Their defence has been uncharacteristic. They're not putting the man down with the ball. Donnelly. Cooper. When one thinks that West have got some players to come back into this side, that one comes to mind as McLeod, the former Queensland player who's with Barry Ross.
Yes, John, 3 weeks ago yesterday you were injured badly. How did that injury happen?
Well, it was against North. I tried to tackle Keith Howard. He was running away from me. I come in for a tackle and he switched balls and elbowed me in the face.
You tell me, John, as I said 3 weeks ago, what about next week? You think you'll be back for that?
Oh, yeah, I'll be back for St George, I hope.
McLeod, who is a very strong player for Western Suburbs early.
Yes, he was just commenting about how such an injury like that, or any injury, it's so hard to get back into first grade, and I suppose this is the same for many players.
Smith, who hasn't stopped trying for the Canterbury side. Can't be said of all the forwards. The West Pack have really smacked their tails today. Ball gone astray. West have come up with it. Another error. Merlot switches to Gitto. Then back inside to Wayne Smith. Donnelly. And Bretnell went charging in to shoulder check him. Neil. Cooper. Neil. Merlot loses the ball. It went sort of down his arm and down his leg there. Turning into a beautiful afternoon with a late afternoon sun beaming down. Quite chilly here. And the crowd sitting rather stunned. This Belmore crowd at the annihilation their side is suffering. Lamb right through the gap. Up the middle of the field. He could go on with this. He's got the pace. Out. No, he lost the ball on the tackle. And it's been kicked dead. So back to the quarter line for a restart.
Lamb did well. I thought in the initial 20 metres he might have gone on with that, but they picked him up inside the quarter. He made the unpardonable sin of losing the ball in the tackle. They would certainly have scored a try from the play the ball had he been able to get to his feet with the ball. Telecast brought to you by your Westco Motors and your local Mazda dealers. Coveney. Hay, one of the very busy players in this Western Suburbs side today. There's Masters doing it very easy now. He's got no worries at all at 19-4 with 12 minutes to go. It's not impossible to score that number of points, but it's impossible the way they're playing. With Steve Mortimer getting underneath a pass, a kick ahead, and that was brilliantly done. Gary Hughes. Mark Hughes. Pomfret wrapped up midfield. Ted Glossop with, one would think, some problems. There's a clean heel to Western Suburbs. They've narrowed the margin 11-8. The scrum's in Canterbury's favour, but that massive penalty count still 11-3 Canterbury's way. Wayne Smith, 10 metres from halfway. Tom Arbour.
Sydney, as he's known to his teammates.
Sydney Arbour. Yes, a little bit of subtlety in that. It's Cooper on the burst, right through the middle. Lisa's supporting him. Lisa's there, got support, looks for it now. Away to Jeffries, the hooker, who's taken high and effectively by Steve Mortimer. There's Rebo. Rebo could go on with this. He's got out a pass to Smith, and Smith's in for a try. That was so easy. And Rebo really has got to go close to Man of Match awards today. He's done everything right, scored 2 tries, made one. And see it again, Neil is having a fair bit to say to Rebo about that. There's Rebo initiating the move there, unloading to Smith, and Smith in for his second try. Yes, good play by Western Suburbs, but really this is becoming a positive thrashing. And Gitto. Rubbing salt into the gaping wound, and that stuffs the score up to 24 points to 4.
Actually, commenting on John Donnelly's play today, I think you said earlier in the telecast, Rex, that he's been rather quiet. I think he's got a few problems with that left leg of his.
Well, he's just done a slip catch of Bobby Simpson. Beautifully pulled in that low kick. Got a little bit of a chop to the nape of the neck as he went to the ground. I don't think it's going to worry. Ken Hay. Arbour. Pounded forward consistently all day and made ground against a very ordinary defensive setup in this Canterbury team. Neil. Kicking downfield, but it's sliced and gone straight downfield. It may even go dead. It won't. Yeah, beautiful tackle there, but Pomfret in the in goal is picked off by Lamb. And that will be a line drop out to restart.
Really rubbing salt into the wound there because he's a Canterbury junior, Terry Lamb.
Yeah. 24 points to 4. 9 minutes to go. Any way you look at it, it's a whacking. Oh, Wayne Smith hasn't really done anything wrong at all today. Out to Merlot. Jeffries.
Hay. 8 metres from the Canterbury quarter. It's been all Western Suburbs the whole game, territorially, apart from an opening flurry. Neal, the run around, Lamb back inside to Cooper. Cooper's found the gap. Oh, there's another one. No double movement there. That was a classic try. That was a beautiful try. You know, forget bad defence. Just look at the good technique there from Western Suburbs, and Gitto sailed over nicely. See it again. Watch the injection of Cooper back on the inside here. Lamb, and there it is. Cooper on the burst. Times he's passed to perfection to Gitto. No double movement. He was ricocheted over the line. See it again. You'll notice the run around, dummy around. There it is. And back inside it comes. Carved up a huge opening. Little Steve Mortimer getting through some good defence, but the bounce of the ball, or the bounce of the body. Well, Ron Gitto 7 tries in the 1980 Sydney Premiership.
Now 8.
That makes 8, eh? 11 points so far from Gitto. Well, it's over. Well, a terrible looking kick. That did everything but roll the right way, but that's given him 13 points, personal tally. West 29, Canterbury 4. And we'll see how the land lies with about 7 minutes to go, 6.5 minutes to go. Well, the lad, I think, would be pretty happy with his team today.
Yes, you've got to be very happy with the boys, the way they've played it today. Roy, in the dressing room before the game, you said that there was a slump, 2 game losses in a row.
Yeah, there was. It's full credit to the players. They've done everything this week. You know, like all I've really done is given them a few clues, but 99% of what's happened out here today is them, and they deserve every accolade that comes their way from today. They deserve.
Well, I wouldn't go along with that, Rex. Roy, I think a lot goes your way because John Rebo was one player in question. He's on the wing. He started off as a lock forward when he came to Sydney, and he's been one of the success stories of today's game. Kerry Lamb is another one.
Oh, in Johnny Rebo's case, it was a necessity more than anything else, Barry. We just ran out of wingers, so we had to play him there. No brilliant move on my part there, mate. That was a necessity.
Well, Roy Masters being humble, and it's nice that a coach is giving the accolade to his players. They do most of it. I'm a great believer in men on the field doing the job, but he's their mentor and deserves a lot of credit. The man he's talking about, John Rebo, for mine, is the man of the match. I can't go past him. There's been a number of fine performances in the West Side, but 2 tries and setting up another try, and really his play has been quite outstanding, I think, all day.
Yes, I agree with you, but one player that we must give special mention to is Ken Hay. Only his 2nd premiership game in first grade as a lock forward, and he's had a big game.
Donnelly now, I think, baiting the... Oh, Arbour right through the gap. Unloads nicely to Merlo. Merlo got a forward pass away to Gitto. That's a good decision. There's a bit of a wacko going here. No, there's not. Coveney and Arbour have thought better of it. They had each other in a death-like, vice-like grip there, but nothing came of it. Touch judge in. And Donnelly says who? The 2 captains being spoken to. The penalty is to Canterbury. Brentnell's kick. George Paponis. Now Canterbury only doing something at the moment to only making the motions of trying to save face, because that score of 29-4 with no tries to their credit is as bad as you can get for a side 2nd place in the competition. There's a shocking pass from Graham Hughes. It's gone well and truly astray. West have come up with it. Boland has it. Some pretty torrid defence there. Boland's on his feet. He's okay. Gitto, the pass is a bad one. Picked up by Steve Mortimer. And a scrappy play now coming into the closing stages of this match. Mark Hughes scoops it out to Chris Mortimer, who tried to do a centre kick and it went straight ahead, but Cooper has it for Western Suburbs. And Ted Glossop, the Canterbury coach won't be terribly thrilled with the way his side has played, particularly in the last 10 minutes. They've been very ordinary. Rebo. Seemed to be a punch going to there. There is a little bit of Marquis of Queensbury going on in the background. Lamb getting it out of the danger zone. It's not going to find touch. Cutler streaking back. Lease, who's been constantly involved. Perhaps 3 minutes to go. Unofficial time, that is. Brentnell. Graham Hughes. And Donnelly all over him there like the plague. Oh, nicely half volleyed. That's Chris Mortimer. Looking for support, got it to Steve Mortimer, and away it goes. It's out there to number 2, Lee Pomfret, and he's going to score a face-saver. That was a beautiful try. Little question about the quality of the try. It was well done. They're the sort of tries that Canterbury are capable of. The pass nicely picked up on the half volley by Chris Mortimer. And back to Pomfret. Opponents directing traffic in the middle of the field. Well, there's the way it went, the interchange of passing. And then finally out to Pomfret, who showed a good turn of speed to get himself right into the clear. Rebo gaining on him. He's kicked the goal from the sideline. As Garrett, that's a fine kick and goal, and the score reduced 29 points to 9. There's the hooter now. The hooter's gone in the background. So the scoreline reads 29 points, Western Suburbs 9 to Canterbury. The try scorers have been Wayne Smith 2, John Rebo 2, Jim Lease a try, Ron Giddo a try and 4 goals. That's 6 tries and 4 goals. And a field goal to John Donnelly. For the Canterbury Bankstown side, a try to Lee Pomfret very late in the game, and Steve Gearin has kicked 3 goals. I suppose when you look at turning points in a game, there's no real turning point in this one because West's have always been on top. But if you look at the 3 tries, and one always has the feeling they're just about to score another try. Neil? Well, that one was surely forward on the lease finally, but gee, that looked a yard forward. There's Rebo. Rebo could go on with this. He's got out a pass to Smith, and Smith's in for a try. That was so easy. Neil, a run around. Lamb back inside to Cooper. Cooper's found the gap. Oh, there's another one. Giddo. No double movement there.
Negative losses to Manly, 11-8, then I think it was 26-14 to Eastern Suburbs. You admitted you were in a slump.
Yeah, well, we temporarily were. We were out of it, as I said, for about 6 days, but I have full credit to them. They tried very hard today. They had a point to prove, and they went about doing it. I think, on the other hand, that Canterbury were probably feeling pretty much the effects of the Tooth Cup. I just cannot believe that first-grade teams in Sydney can play 2 top games in the space of 4 days, Rex.
A lot of people agree with you. Maybe there's the thought that competition should be over by the middle of July or something of that nature.
Well, I think it should not have an effect upon the determination of the semi-final teams, which it is. Yeah. We play Parramatta on Wednesday week. I think we'd be a fair chance of doing it very hard against whoever we play after that game, irrespective of the result.
Roy Masters always seems to get something different done with his team before a game. Today, they tell me you took him for a stroll in the park.
We went up to our under-23 coach's place. He lives not too far away from here. And we just sat around his pool, and he's a bit of a silvertail. He's got a nice home. And I told them they could achieve all this one day if they really tried hard.
You're still working on that.
That's right.
All right, now you've got St George next week. They've had a 19-all draw with the Manly side at Jubilee Oval today. What about that one?
Well, we have always had a very hard time against St George. We beat them in the Tooth Cup, but maybe this time we've got a few more things going for us.
Well, anyway, congratulations. I thought it was a fine win. I didn't believe Canterbury could be forced to play as badly as that.
Maybe the Tooth Cup, mate.
Maybe. All right. Thanks for talking to me, Roy. Fellow I want to talk to at the moment is Ken Hay. Ken, can I have you? Kenny Hay is the son of a famous father, and I suppose that's been a great irritation to you all your life. You're Vic Hay's son, aren't you?
No, not an irritation, Rex. It's just a privilege, I think. And
of course, he's a lovely man. Yeah, he was a great footballer. But you, as the son, to have to live with that all these years, has it been a bit of a pain in the backside?
It's a bit to live up to, but you know, if anyone gets a bit heavy about it, well, I can sort of straighten them out with a few facts, I suppose. You know, I've played first grade and I'm doing my best, and that's all I can do, you know.
Well, I'd like to just compliment you on, Ken. I mean, this is only your second first grade game this year.
Yeah, besides...
You've very nearly won my award. You've had 29 tackles, which is the second highest in the team.
Yeah.
And you've played in a strange position at lock forward.
Yeah. You
had a good one the other night as lock forward too.
Yeah, well...
so what's the new story with... Is this your new career, Lee?
I've always been a reasonable tackler, Rex, and I've always been a sort of an individualist right through. I think I would have been better as a tennis player or something where I could play my own game. A lot of people have said I should have been a lock from the start, you know, and after a lot of injuries with my knee and hamstring, I lost a bit of pace, and so Roy thought, well, put you in the lock, and you know, you're a reasonable defender, and you can play your own game and go out there, and I just go out there and try and do my best. And
well, your best is certainly good enough at the moment, so congratulations on your form.
Thanks a lot, Rex.
Okay, there's a young fella that really does deserve a lot of accolade. Dallas Donnelly, if you'd be so kind. I can't look at you without laughing. Oh, thanks. No, I don't mean the look of you, but I mean this. What is this field goal thing? What are you on, some sort of a kick or a high, or what is it?
I'm not.
Is this another planned move?
Well, at the time it was. You know, we were 9 points in front. You know, 2 converted tries, and they were a point back in front. So. You know, we were there, 5th tackle, so...
John, do you realise if you were playing in the old days, you'd have been drummed out of the forwards union? You know that, do you? There's no way you can kick field goals and be a prop forward.
Thank Christ I wasn't playing in the old days.
All right. Anyway, have you got plans for any more?
Oh, it all depends on if we need them. If we need them and I think I can get them, well, I'll have a shot.
Do you think now that the opposition might be looking for you?
I don't know. You read all this stupid, ridiculous stuff that's printed in the papers these days about, you know, 1 week West looked like, you know, they're at the top of the competition ladder under false pretences, and the following week they're there, they're equal leaders with St George, then the week after that, you know, they're not going to make the 5. Well, we had to go out there today and prove something, you know. We wanted to get back up to the top of the ladder, and
well, you're only 1 off the pace now. St George 24, Western Suburbs 23.
Yeah, and we've got St George next week, and they'll know they've got a game on their hands next week.
If you beat them next week, you're the leaders of the competition again.
Yeah.
Good luck. Let's hope you get a field goal.
Yeah, thanks, Rex.
Another bloke I'd like to talk to briefly is John Rebo. Come on here, John. Congratulations.
Thanks, Rex.
Your own form on the wing is astounding, but everyone knows you're fast enough to play the position, but really, I've never seen you play better than the last month.
Oh, I've enjoyed it, Rex. It's just a matter of, well, Jimmy's been playing, you know, he ended up playing for Australia, and they brought Jimmy and myself as lock, and Jimmy's playing that good, so Roy said to me, we've actually run out of wingers, so he said, would you play in the wing? So I thought, beautiful, anywhere in first grade,
Anywhere in first grade.
I'll hook for them if they want, you know.
Yeah. But you're such a strong bloke with it, John. I mean, you're brushing people off. You scored a try last week against, I think it was against East. Who was it? I've forgotten your match last week.
Right, East, yeah, East last week.
And you rounded a man and pushed the bloke off and scored it. You've gone through a couple of defenders today to score.
I could probably thank that from being in the forward, you know, doing a bit of the hard work, and you get out there and you get a bit of a fend or something, so to my advantage.
So you're going to stay on the wing as long as they want you.
Oh,
If
yeah.
it's hooker after that, you'll stay there.
Yeah, I'll go there, yeah. Thanks, Rex.
Good luck. One of the success stories in today's game. Well, I hope you've enjoyed our telecast, and just a thought to go out on a look at a very, very good try that was scored, the one scored by Ron Gitto. I'd like you to look particularly at the lead-up work that was involved there with Bob Cooper. Very, very good stuff.
Flurry. Neal. The run around. Lamb back inside to Cooper. Cooper's found the gap. Oh, there's another one. Gitto. No double movement there.
Our award winner today was John Rebo, the wing 3/4 now for the Western Suburbs side. Scored 2 tries, made another, and did absolutely nothing wrong. A first-class performance, particularly as he's playing in what for him is an unaccustomed position. Now, the results of the round of football this weekend. Yesterday, Belmore 37, North Sydney 14. Today, Western Suburbs 29 defeated Canterbury 9. Eastern Suburbs 19 in a rousing performance defeated Newtown 5. Cronulla and South Sydney have played a 6-all draw, and another draw, St George and Manly at Jubilee Oval, 19 all. So the competition table starting to look just a wee bit congested in the area that it matters. This is the way it is. West 24, St George 24, Canterbury 22, Manly and Parramatta 21. That's the top 5. Eastern Suburbs 20, South Sydney 17. The others are also rounds at this stage. Cronulla 15, Newtown 14, Belmore 12, North Sydney 11 and Penrith 3.
In 19